I want to be voted in again, so I have to grandstand on stuff like this, because if I don't, then the one brain cell idiots in my, you know, little tiny backwater nation called Alabama will not vote me in again. Alright, so apparently we have a video from Senator Tommy Tuberville saying that Americans should demand an end to democracy? Oh, no. Oh boy, well, I guess that's the thing we're going to be talking about now. But first, let's get into the fan art section. And, well, the very first one here is from Mish Monster. Let's see here. My poly group watching Suris with our Pokemon plushies. We love you. That is adorable. Why is that one a Lucario? That's frightening. The next message from them also says, I guess my boyfriend doesn't get ears. Not like he listens anyways. Joking. I love him. He is perfect. Aw. That's adorable. The next one is also from Mish Monster, and huh. Well, that is certainly an image. That is certainly an image. It is apparently Mish Monster, potentially groping my character's booba with the phrase, war words, Suris, please wife me. Huh. You know, there's more direct ways to flirt. My DMs are open. As always, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. With that all said, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, maybe even hitting the bell notification icon. All those things help the channel out a ton. With all that said, let's go ahead and get into the actual... what? Senator Tub, let's go!
I can't even talk about it. You know, it's so bad. But if people don't go to jail for this, American people should just stand up and say, listen, enough's enough. Let's don't have elections anymore. I wish there was a special investigation into the voter fraud, because it was outrageous what happened. But nobody wanted to look into it because they were afraid they were going to be called out. And so it is what it is. I hate that it's happened.
Didn't a shit ton of people try to look into voter fraud multiple times and didn't find that there was enough of it? Dude's a Republican in Alabama. I don't know what we're talking about. So those were words. So we've got the whole, like, let's get an end to democracy, everybody. Also, I love how Newsmax has...
I can't...
Under here, Newsmax beat CNN in primetime Friday. Let me just say this right now. If your news organization has to put in the organizations it's competing with and performing better than or worse than, then I assume that you're just a bunch of children. I assume you're a bunch of children who care more about winning a popularity contest than you do about actually giving the news. It doesn't matter if you beat CNN. It doesn't fucking matter. Now, aside from the obvious, you know, understanding that somebody like Tubman maybe should resign, I mean, if he doesn't think that we need our actual democracy to function as democracy and have the ability for people to, you know, choose our representatives in office anymore, then maybe he shouldn't be a representative in office. Maybe. He said Newsmax does news. When did that happen? No idea. No idea. Holy farking ball sacks. I thought I muted that. Apparently I didn't. Apparently I didn't. But, that said, there's more to Tommy Tuberville than just saying that democracy maybe needs to go away. Oh boy. Oh boy. So, Senator Tommy Tuberville on Thursday had to clarify some comments he made earlier this week about white nationalists in the military, suggesting his highly controversial remarks had been misunderstood. During an interview, okay, so basically he said that we need more white nationalist extremists in the United States military, and getting rid of the extremists is a bad thing. During an interview Monday, a public radio, the Alabama Republican was asked whether white nationalists should be allowed to serve in the military. And he said, "They call them that. I call them Americans," he said during a radio interview. Extremism in the military has been a focus of many lawmakers after January 6th, and that attack on the Capitol involved some veterans and even a handful of active duty service members. Tuberville's comments earned widespread condemnation. Speaking on the Senate floor Thursday, Majority Leader Charles E. Schumer called the comments utterly revolting. Does Senator Tuberville honestly believe that our military is stronger with white nationalists in its ranks? I cannot believe this needs to be said, but white nationalism has no place in our armed forces and no place in any corner of American society. 20 years from now, I wonder what the thoughts on that are going to be. I sincerely hope that they are in our favor. But Tuberville on Thursday told reporters that his comments had been misconstrued. Instead, he said he meant to criticize Democrats for calling service members with right-wing beliefs white nationalists. He said, "There's a lot of good people who are Trump supporters in the military, but for some reason, my Democrat colleagues want to portray everybody who's a Trump supporter as a white nationalist. That's not true." That's very different to this statement right up here. Tuberville is already in the spotlight for blocking hundreds of military nominations to protest the Pentagon's new abortion policy, which reimburses service members who must travel to other states for reproductive health care. He doubled down on his protest Wednesday night, objecting to a unanimous consent request by Senator Michael Bennet DeCola, a Democrat from Colorado, to proceed to immediate consideration and confirmation of a series of nominations. He did so hours after Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said he didn't support Tuberville's actions, which have snarled almost 200 nominations. Schumer, who has taken the floor numerous times to castigate Tuberville, piled on, "This farce is endangering our national security, putting the lives of men and women who have served in our country for decades in real trouble, and it needs to end." Last week, 7 former secretaries of defense from Republican and Democratic administrations warned of national security consequences if the holds persist and urged the Senate to act expeditiously on nominations in limbo. In recent letters to Senator Elizabeth Warren, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said Tuberville's hold poses an unnecessary and unprecedented risk to United States national security. So he's literally just saying, hey, I know that the federal government, I know that the military says that it's okay to get these abortions and we will reimburse you to go get them so that you can continue to be an effective service member in the United States military, but instead he would rather risk the United States military itself so that he can be like, God said protect the babies! God said protect the little children! What a fucking quack! Tuberville has insisted his holds don't affect national security because defense officials remain in their roles until their replacements are confirmed. On Thursday, he told reporters that he was waiting on defense departments to meet him and resolve the impasse. Everybody's got their own opinions, he said, referencing McConnell's comments. I'm waiting for somebody to come over from the Department of Defense and sit down and have a good discussion so we can work it out. But I've heard crickets. Yeah, because you shouldn't be doing this in the first fucking place. You shouldn't be doing this in the first fucking place. There's a whole write-up of this on Politico that we can look at here. Some Senate Republicans are raising concerns about Tommy Tuberville's hold on defense nominations over the Pentagon's abortion policy and publicly distancing themselves from the Alabama Republicans' approach. Also, Zoo Potato, thank you for redeeming your points for an Alwo. Dark Magic, also thank you very much for the follow. Did not catch those when they happened. NB Cham, thank you very much for the follow. That happened earlier, and I didn't catch that either. I'm sorry. And Liz Chris, thank you for redeeming your points for an Arara. You fucking degen. But, so I think there's a vital reason to put these officers in place. Clearly, we're trying to resolve it, but I think it doesn't come easily. There's a whole thing here. Tuberville, the senator who has been holding up more than 100 nominations since February over the Pentagon, shoring up troops' access to abortion services, largely brushed off his Republican colleagues' concerns. He said, they don't believe in my hold. That's their prerogative. I represent Alabama. I don't represent the other states. Which means I want to be voted in again, so I have to grandstand on stuff like this, because if I don't, then the one brain cell idiots in my little tiny backwater nation called Alabama will not vote me in again. Also, if they don't vote me in, then they need to just say that democracy bad and keep me in anyway. I'm going to prime them for that because it worked so well for Donald Trump. And, oh my God, I just love the taste of his toes. Sorry, that was my attempt at actually, grandstanding as Tubberville. Tubman cometh. My guy, when an entire group of people want their human rights, and one of those rights is a right to their own body, and because you are failing them by trying to restrict that access, you're not doing the will of the people when you are fucking with those rights and fucking with the workarounds the United States government has had to impose in order to maintain those rights, or at least, some semblance of those rights to their own bodily autonomy. Unfortunately, it's very, very awkward when you are the person who even the other Republicans, who are equally psychotic, mind you, are looking at you like, I don't think I want to be near him. I don't think I want to be the guy that goes up against the United States military while they try to get abortions. I don't know if I want to be that guy or associated with that guy. I wonder if there's going to be a brick in his window. That would be really, really bad. Jasper Mark says, I wonder why Republican states are often ranked the worst in everything. It's that one brain cell. It's that one IQ point. Isn't Alabama the average IQ is borderline mentally disabled? IQ's only one of 9, I think. 9 or 12 measurements for the human brain. It's not the most accurate thing in the entire world. I think we should bring back fist fights on the Senate floor. I'm going to be honest. I think that's a thing we need to bring back. That is an old American tradition that we need to bring in. When some Republican is just being an absolute drop-down fucking moron, you just come in with a squirt bottle. And you start some shit. That would be hilarious if we brought that back. I thought that was more of a Canadian thing. That's during hockey season. It's certainly been a thing in America before as well. The idea that, limiting everything to just the words we are saying somehow makes things more civil when some of those words can involve literally genocidal rhetoric is strange to me. Is very strange to me. So that ironically, Floridians and Alabamians would both be down for court-mandated fistfights. Okay, look, we cannot have the representatives from Florida be part of the fistfights in the Senate. You don't understand. Those people wrestle alligators, and they do it for fun. You don't want them part of that. If you have fights in the Senate, then you need to have Florida banned from it, because if you don't, it would be like having Canada allowed to be part of the fistfights as well. Between hockey and moose, you cannot trust those people when they swing their clubs. Suris, you are one of them. I'm not in the Senate! I can beat up whoever I want! But that said, what are your opinions on Tuberville's shit? I think I've given my own quite handedly here. I don't think that stripping America of its democracy and also at the same time ripping government-mandated provisions for human rights to bodily autonomy away from people is a good idea. But apparently he does think it's a good idea, so what are you gonna do? No, I'm not going to beat you, Stoff. You want me to do that far too much. So did you know there's a whole lot more to New York outside the city, right? Yes, I'm aware. I'm aware. That all said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you haven't already. And as always, everyone, insert end of video tagline here.